Struggling with hip pain? You're not alone, and relief is closer than you think. In this gentle, senior-friendly video, you'll learn for simple, effective stretches designed to ease hip discomfort and bring you instant comfort. No equipment, no pressure, just soothing movements you can do at home. Take a few minutes for yourself today. You deserve to feel good again. Have you ever stood up from your favorite chair and felt that sharp twinge deep in your hip? Or maybe it's a dull ache that nags you after a short walk, reminding you that things don't feel quite the way they used to. You're not alone. That kind of discomfort can sneak up on us as we get older. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to stay that way. Our bodies may not be as forgiving as they were in our 20s, but they're still incredibly responsive to the right kind of care. And sometimes, the best medicine isn't a pill, it's movement. Gentle, mindful, deliberate movement. That's what we're talking about today. For simple stretches that you can do right at home, with no fancy equipment. And you might just feel the difference today, not weeks from now, but today. Hip pain is more than just an inconvenience. It can affect how you sleep, how you move, and even how confident you feel leaving the house. It's one of those things that chips away at your freedom without making a big scene. But when we stretch the right way, we wake those muscles up, we loosen stiff joints, and we give our body a chance to breathe again. The trick is knowing where to start, and that's exactly what I want to show you. Now, before we dive in, let's be clear, these aren't intense yoga poses or exercises that make you feel like you're training for the Olympics. These are stretches designed with your comfort in mind. You'll be able to do them on your bed, a sturdy chair, or even the living room floor if you're feeling adventurous. You set the pace. You're in control. Let's begin with something gentle, something that greets your body instead of demanding from it. I call this the seated knee hug. Sounds sweet, right? Sit comfortably in a sturdy chair, something with a straight back and no wheels. Place both feet flat on the floor. Now slowly lift your right knee toward your chest as far as is comfortable, and wrap your arms gently around your shin. Don't force anything. Just hold it there for about 20 seconds, breathing deeply, then release. Switch to the other leg. This stretch helps loosen up the muscles deep in your hip and lower back, the ones that tighten when you've been sitting too long or sleeping in one position. While you're doing it, you might feel a little tightness. That's okay. That tightness is your body's way of saying, "Thank you for paying attention to me." If you feel any sharp pain though, stop. That's not what we want. These stretches should feel good, like your body is sighing with relief. And don't worry if your knee doesn't come up very far. It's not about how high you lift, it's about showing up for your body every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Over time, you'll notice you can go a little farther, hold it a little longer, and best of all, you'll start to feel that freedom return. Now that your hips are starting to wake up, let's shift to another stretch that targets one of the sneakiest troublemakers, the hip flexors. These muscles run along the front of your hips and get really tight if you sit a lot. You know that stiff, hunched over feeling you get after watching TV or reading for a while? That's your hip flexors yelling at you. Let's calm them down. Stand next to a sturdy surface, like the back of your couch or a countertop. Place your left foot forward and your right foot about 2 feet behind you. Both feet should point straight ahead. Gently bend your front knee while keeping your back leg straight and your heel down. You should feel a nice stretch through the front of your right hip. Keep your back upright, no leaning forward, and breathe. Hold it for 20 to 30 seconds, then switch sides. This is called the standing hip flexor stretch, and it's a quiet little miracle for those who feel stiff every morning. You might notice that you naturally hold your breath during stretches. Try not to. Deep, steady breathing helps your body release tension. It tells your nervous system, we're safe, we're okay, we're healing. These 2 stretches alone can make a world of difference if you do them regularly. Not once a month, not just when things feel unbearable, but maybe every day, or even a couple of times a day. Your body thrives on rhythm, and this kind of movement becomes a gift you give yourself, like a warm cup of tea for your joints. I know it can be easy to put this off. Maybe you're thinking, I'll stretch tomorrow, or it's probably too late for me to make a difference. But I promise you, it's never too late. Your body listens. Every little stretch you do is a message of care, a step toward comfort, and a way to say, I'm still here, and I still matter. Now that we've got the hips moving, and the tension loosening up from both the back and front of your hips. Let's keep that momentum going. There's another area we can't ignore, one that plays a big role in how your hips feel, and that's exactly where we're headed next. If you've been following along and doing the stretches we started with, you might already notice something: a little less tightness, a bit more ease when you stand up, maybe even a new sense of connection with your body. That's the beauty of movement like this. It doesn't demand hours or fancy routines. It just asks for a few minutes of your care, and in return, it gives you comfort. Let's build on that feeling with another stretch that brings real relief to your hips, especially if you've ever felt stiff or achy after sitting too long. You know that sensation when your legs feel heavy and your hips just don't want to move the way they used to? This next one is for that exact issue. You're going to want to find a comfortable space to lie down for this one. Your bed will work just fine if it's firm enough, or even a yoga mat if you're comfortable getting on the floor. Once you're lying down, bend both knees so your feet are flat on the surface. From here, gently place your right ankle across your left thigh, just above the knee, creating a figure four shape. This is often called the figure four stretch, and it's one of the kindest things you can do for your hips and lower back. Now, if you can reach, gently pull your left leg in toward your chest by holding behind the thigh. Go only as far as your body comfortably allows. You'll feel a stretch deep in the right hip, possibly even into your glutes. That's exactly where we want to release the tension. Hold it there, breathe in through your nose, and let it go slowly through your mouth. 20 to 30 seconds is great, then switch sides. What's so special about this stretch is how it targets the muscles that often get tight when we walk less, or when we tend to favor one side of the body more than the other, like when we carry groceries or rely on a stronger leg for balance. That tightness can lead to uneven pressure on the hips, which leads to pain, which leads to moving less, and that's the cycle we're breaking today. Now, I know getting down to the floor might not be for everyone. If that's the case, don't worry. There's always another way. You can still do a seated version of this stretch. Just sit tall in a chair. Place your ankle over the opposite knee and gently lean forward from the hips. No forcing, no bouncing. Just a slow, gentle lean until you feel that same release in the hip. You'll know it when you feel it. It's like a whisper from your body saying, yes, that's it. Stretching isn't about perfection. It's about attention. Giving your body that moment to feel cared for, to feel safe. And that brings us to another area that gets overlooked a lot when we talk about hip pain. The inner thighs. Tight inner thigh muscles can actually tug on the hip joints and throw off the way you move, or even the way you sit. This next stretch is incredibly gentle, and it might even feel relaxing. Sit comfortably on a sturdy chair, with your feet flat on the floor and your knees spread a little wider than hip distance apart. Let your hands rest gently on your thighs. Now, with a nice long spine, slowly hinge forward from your hips, not your back, and lean toward the space between your legs. You don't need to go far. Even a small forward motion will help release the tension in the inner thighs and groin area. If it feels good and your body allows, you can gently press down on your thighs with your elbows for a slightly deeper stretch. But remember, this isn't about pushing. It's about listening, about showing up. Hold that stretch for 20 seconds or so, breathing fully, then slowly come back up. What's beautiful about this one is that it not only helps your hips feel freer, but it also improves your ability to walk, balance, and even get in and out of the car more easily. It strengthens the connection between your core and your lower body, and that's where a lot of real, lasting comfort comes from. And while we're here, let's pause for just a moment, not to stretch, but to simply appreciate what's happening. With each of these movements, you're not just loosening a muscle, you're reminding your body that you're still in charge, that you haven't given up on comfort, on mobility, or on living fully. That matters. It matters more than you know. Sometimes we get so used to discomfort that it starts to feel normal. We stop expecting ease. We accept that certain things are just part of aging. But I'm here to tell you that comfort is not a luxury. It's not something reserved for the young. It's something you absolutely deserve at every age. And these simple stretches are just one way to reclaim that. So far, you've stretched the back of your hips, the front, the deep glute muscles, and the inner thighs. That's a lot of love in a short amount of time. And yet, there's one more area we can't ignore, an area that quietly supports every step you take and holds the key to even greater relief. Let's keep going. You've come this far, and that says a lot. It means you're not just looking for relief, you're willing to show up for your body, even when it's been a little stubborn or slow to respond. And that's the kind of mindset that changes everything, not just your hips, but your entire sense of well-being. Now, we've already worked on releasing the back, the sides, and the inner parts of the hips. But there's one more stretch. I want to share with you one that's often overlooked but incredibly powerful. This one focuses on the front of the hip, particularly a muscle called the hip flexor. You may not know its name, but you definitely know the feeling when it gets tight. It's that tug in the front of your hip when you've been sitting too long, or that stiffness when you try to stand up straight after watching TV, reading a book, or even napping in your favorite chair. The good news is that you can loosen this area gently, with just a bit of space and intention. If you have access to a bed or a couch, that's perfect. You're going to stand next to it and place one knee gently on the surface behind you, like you're about to take a knee. Your other foot stays on the floor, flat and forward-facing. Hold on to something for balance if you need it. Your health is more important than your pride. Now, slowly and gently shift your weight forward just a touch. Don't push. Don't force. Just allow the front of the hip on the kneeling leg to stretch open. You might feel it right away, or it may take a few seconds. That tight, compressed feeling will start to soften, and your hip will feel just a little taller, like it's rising out of its slump. This stretch helps to undo hours of sitting, which most of us do more of as we age, not because we're lazy, but because the body sometimes tells us it needs rest. But if we rest too long in one position, especially sitting, those front hip muscles get shorter and stiffer, and that puts pressure on the joints and lower back. Just a few breaths in this stretch each day can make standing up feel easier and walking feel smoother. And here's the beautiful thing: once you stretch the hip flexors, your entire posture improves. You don't have to try so hard to stand up straight. Your body starts to do it naturally. That heaviness in your lower back, it often lifts. The dragging feeling in your thighs, it lightens. All because you gave one little muscle group the attention it's been asking for. So take another deep breath here. Maybe one more slow shift forward. Then gently step back out of the stretch and do the same on the other side when you're ready. At this point, your hips have been shown some serious care: front, back, inside, outside. You've moved them in the way they were designed to move. You've reminded your body that it's never too late to feel better. And I hope, somewhere in these past few minutes, you've felt a little something awaken, not just physically, but emotionally too. Maybe a flicker of hope, a quiet little voice that says, I can still do this. I still matter. Because you do. And your comfort matters. Pain doesn't have to be the story you carry every day. You may not erase it completely, but you can soften it, ease it, even rewrite parts of it with just a little movement, a little time, and a little self-kindness. These stretches don't need to be done perfectly. They don't require fancy clothes or gym memberships or even a whole lot of energy. All they need is your presence, and maybe a chair, or a bed, or your living room floor. And if you forget one, that's okay. Come back to it tomorrow. Your body is patient, and so is progress. Let's take a moment now to just be proud. Really, you made time for yourself today. You made your well-being a priority, and that's no small thing. When we choose to care for ourselves, especially in the face of pain, age, or doubt, we're not just surviving. We're choosing to live well. And if today reminded you of the power of even the smallest effort, I encourage you to keep going. Keep stretching. Keep breathing. Keep believing that comfort is still possible. Because it is. Now, I'd love to hear how these stretches made you feel. Was there one that surprised you? One that gave you instant relief? Let's share this space with each other in the comments. You never know who you might inspire by telling your story. And if this video helped you even just a little, please take a moment to like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. We've got so much more to explore together: more stretches, more habits, more gentle ways to feel stronger and lighter with each passing day. Remember, healing doesn't have an expiration date. You don't need to be a certain age or in perfect shape or pain-free to start feeling better. You just need a little willingness and a few moments of care. So here's to you for showing up, for trying something new, for choosing comfort over pain. Let's keep walking this journey together, one breath, one stretch, one peaceful moment at a time. Here's to living your best life right now, right here, at any age.